Hey guys, my name is Brittany, and I bet you're wondering, what is this girl doing making this video? And after a few years and so many struggles at this point, I just wanted to share a little bit of information about this crazy disease that I had. And after talking with a lot of people who have contacted me over the past 2 years, everybody had said that they would like videos. So I decided that it would be beneficial to help somebody else, and maybe this video will bring you comfort in knowing that there might be something wrong with you and you might have this disease, or maybe it'll help you rule out. I've talked to quite a few people too that thought they had this disease and probably most likely did not end up having this disease. So yeah, that is why I am making these videos, just to get awareness out there and help anybody who might need them. I have literally talked to a lot. I couldn't even count. I tried to count as many people as I had in my DMs from Instagram, but I cannot keep track, and I literally probably get one contact per week of somebody just having questions about this disease. So, and this is all over the world. I've talked to people in South Africa, Spain, Europe, all across America, Canada. So yeah, just wanted to help anybody out there who might need it and bring some awareness to it. So I've also decided to write down every single question that was asked to me over these past couple years, and I hope to make a couple videos and just go through, all the answers that I can answer the best, or point you in the right direction of where to find those answers. And again, remember, every single human is different, so how I experience something is not how some of my friends have experienced this disease, and might not be how you experience it if you have this. So this is just kind of an awareness video to kind of just help guide you in the right direction to figure out if this could be something that you suffer from. And with that being said, just know that there are over 7,000 rare diseases in this world, and this is just one of them. So if anything, this might just help point you in the right direction of maybe what type of doctor to see, maybe to look at hormonal issues, and just anything like that. In my opinion, this disease is becoming much more prevalent, and my doctor, who has specifically worked with Cushing's patients for over 30 years himself, has said that he diagnoses multiple people a week now, where in the beginning that was not really the case. So I'm not sure if it's happening to more people, or if we just kind of have a little bit better idea and we know about it. I think this disease probably in the past went undiagnosed, and many people probably suffered from it and ended up passing away from this disease. But this disease does not have to be terminal, so I don't want to scare anyone out there, but it is quite debilitating. So it's definitely a great thing that people really know what to look for nowadays. So just some facts about myself so you know where I'm coming from. I was diagnosed with Cushing's disease in the summer of 2017. And I say officially diagnosed because my doctor was able to confirm by looking at pictures throughout my life that I officially had the tumor in 2009, which was 8 years before officially being diagnosed with this disease. And he could tell by looking at my pictures by what we'll learn about later, which is called moon face. So by 2009, I already had moon face, meaning that I had this tumor and this disease was active. And the tumor is slow growing. So the chances of me having it most of my college career are pretty high. And if I had to look back nowadays, I would say, yeah, I could maybe see some changes happening beginning as early as my freshman year of college, maybe even earlier than that in high school. I'm not sure, but I whisk them away of just being, oh, I'm in college, I'm stressed out, things are changing, life is changing, etc. So very interesting, but I am glad that I was finally diagnosed. We'll go to that story another time, but it's pretty funny. I still didn't believe that I was actually diagnosed because every time I would go to the doctor, they would diagnose me with another thing that ended up not being the correct answer to my problems. So I told my mom I wouldn't believe I actually had Cushing's disease until I had the neurosurgery and I was healed. So here I am over 2 years after my surgery, and I can say I had Cushing's disease because I'm a completely different person. I feel amazing compared to where I was. I actually feel better now today than I did for the past 15 years of my life. So if that is to give you any hope, I hope it does. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I had surgery in September of 2017 in Boston, and they removed the pituitary tumor which is located underneath the brain in your head. And about 30% of my pituitary gland was removed in doing so. And by the way, the gland is yay big, so it's about a size of a soybean, so it's not very big. So when they're cutting out a very teeny tiny tumor, they're going to have to take quite a bit of your pituitary with it. So just to give you a little bit of background on how I even got myself into these videos in the first place, that's it. So today, I just want to go over some very basic things. What is Cushing's disease? What are some symptoms of Cushing's disease? Who usually gets Cushing's disease? And what do I do if I think I have this? And last but not least, what tests can either prove or rule out that I have Cushing's, right? Some of you are just trying to figure out on your health journey, what do I not have? And maybe this video will help you just look at tests that you've already taken to say, oh, I don't have that. My test results do not, show that. So I can rule this out. Keep searching. Some of you might say, wow, I've never tested for that. And maybe you can get your doctor to test you. So with that, number one, what is Cushing's disease? So random. I have never heard of this disease in my entire life until I got a call that I was diagnosed with it officially. And what I want to tell you, it is, and I got most of this book information along with a little bit of my own detail in here from the Cushing's Foundation website. And let me just read what website that is. It is the Cushing Support and Research Foundation website. And this has been the best website, I believe, in my personal journey with Cushing's. I think it's the most accurate. It has the most articles on it for you by doctors, and best support. So if you're going to look at a website, that is the one to check out. And let me just tell you what that website is. It is C as in cat, S as in Sam, R red, F as in Frank.net. And there you can basically find everything you need to know. So I definitely suggest you check it out if that's what you're looking to find out. But what is Cushing's disease? It is an endocrine and hormonal disorder where the adrenal glands, release too much of the hormone cortisol for long periods of time. So basically your body continues to produce cortisol and it is draining on your body. It is usually caused by a tumor, which is benign, non-cancerous, on the pituitary gland, which, like I said, is located at the base of the brain. It's either there on your lungs or another internal organ, or it is a tumor on the adrenal gland, which is located right above your kidney. Okay, so go check out an organ map on Google just to see where your bodily organs are so you understand where those places are. Because to be honest with you, I didn't really know where my adrenal glands were. So And also, just so you know, Cushing's can also can also happen to you if you have prolonged use of a cortisone drug such as prednisone. And people are sometimes prescribed prednisone for asthma, RA, rheumatoid arthritis, or for lupus. So if you've had to take that drug for quite a long time, that can also induce Cushing's disease. So sometimes it can go away if you stop taking that drug, etc. So just wanted to put that out there. I don't know that I've met anyone yet. I mean, I know they're out there, but I don't think I've met anyone that was taking that drug and had Cushing's. So most of the people that I've come in contact with have had Cushing's due to a tumor. So, and what does this tumor do, by the way? It basically causes the pituitary gland in your head, which is the brain of your entire hormone system, to cause, it causes it to release too much ACTH, which is a hormone. And that hormone stimulates the production and the release of cortisol, okay? A stress hormone. So hormone everywhere, right? It's on your pituitary gland usually, and it's causing your hormones to go crazy. So the cortisol is then, by the way, made in your adrenal glands. So then your adrenal glands start to work overtime and produce so much cortisol your body can barely keep up, and it just keeps going. And what is the function of cortisol in the first place? Basically to help you respond to stress. And it is essential for many of the body's cardiovascular and metabolic functions. So if you think about that, it is going to mess up your cardiovascular system and your metabolic functions very quickly. And also, cortisol is used to control the body's use of carbs, fats, and proteins. Great, right? Because we're all worried about health, and most of us, everyone that I've seen to know, cares a lot about their health and usually are active people. So that's gonna hurt you. It also reduces your immune system's response to swelling and inflammation, and it also regulates your blood pressure and water balance. So I just want you to kind of take that in. That was a lot of information already. But again, your pituitary gland, even if your tumor isn't on the pituitary gland, it is still, if the tumor is anywhere, the hormone balance is now off, and it is affecting you in other parts of your body. Okay, so everything needs to work in balance. So on to question 2. What are the symptoms? Now, I'm going to list a bunch of symptoms, and I will go like this if I suffered from that myself, just so you know, okay, this is something that she suffered. So some of the symptoms are obesity around the midsection. So around your organs, you are gaining weight, and you have fat there. And it's different fat from when you gain weight. Your limbs become super thin and skinny. So arms and legs are so skinny compared to your midsection. So it's really out of balance. You don't look like you normally would. You have a round face and what they call the moon face. And I think this is so interesting because when my doctor didn't really necessarily believe something was wrong with me, I remember turning around and going into her office and saying, "Can you tell me why my face looks like this? You know, this isn't what my face looks like when I'm overweight, when I've gained weight. This is different. I don't know how to explain it, but this is not what my face looks like." And that cued her to test me for this disease. And I didn't even know it at the time because, again, I'd never heard of Cushing's. I never heard of moon face before. Female balding. I will definitely talk about this down the line because I feel like it was my last straw. I lost a lot of hair. And, you know, yes, we can be grateful we do not have to go through chemotherapy. Well, some of us do not go through chemotherapy and lose all of our hair. I did still have hair, but for me, it was the last physical appearance thing that this disease took for me at the time. So when I already felt ugly from my obesity and body changes, I now felt ugly because I had lost most of my hair to where I had to wear it back and in a baby's ponytail. They were so small. Another thing, vertigo. Blurry vision. I thought this was interesting. I thought back to blurry vision. When did I have that? In college, I had to change my prescription for my glasses. I went from only needing glasses sometimes to read, which I didn't really need, to needing glasses to see the board far away. So my vision definitely went in and out, and I'm guessing that has something to do with the more hormones released, the vision just changes because it went off and on. It was worse at some times, better at other times. Acne. Purple stretch marks, also called stray. So these are very deep stretch marks, deeper than if you were like pregnant or gaining weight. Okay, you will notice them. I wouldn't say they hurt, but you will definitely notice them on your body. They will be a different color. Poor wound healing, meaning I would maybe shave, and for some reason, I'd never cut myself before. I didn't, nick myself on accident. I would have a cut or I would be bleeding. I would, rub my arm on something, and this time it would, be bleeding, as to where normally it wouldn't even, have left a mark. Another thing is skin is very easy to bruise. I would wake up with bruises all over my body, and I had no idea where I had gotten them. Never ran into anything. Didn't hurt myself, but it looked like, even someone had grabbed me or anything like that nature. So just weird bruising that you can't hardly remember where that came from. Bone pain. That was something that was very weird, but I will say it didn't happen for me until towards, closer to finding my tumor. So this was quite a few years in. This is a great one. Fat between the shoulders, called the buffalo hump. So on your back, basically on your spine, in between your shoulders, having an extra fatty pad of fat, basically. And it looks weird. And I liked to joke around and said I was Quasimodo from Disney, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. So some people can relate it to something like that, but mine wasn't horrible. Some people do have it more prevalent than others, but it could be, you could have it. Weakening of the bones, meaning easy breaks. I was fortunate to get by through with this disease with not having broken any bones. When I had gone into surgery, the endocrinologist at the hospital had said that he had met people who had the surgery that had to wait for their surgery because they had broken ribs, a broken back. I mean, your bones basically go to dust with this disease, just the effects of cortisol onto your bones. So that's something to think about too. Did you break something recently? Weakening of the muscles. For instance, again, this was more towards closer of my diagnosis, but I was unable to bend down on the floor, pick something up, and then physically stand back up. I could not do it. I had to basically get help to stand back up, or I somehow had to use my arms to push my body up, but my legs were not strong enough to lift my body. Women have excess hair growth. I think this happens in both women and men, but excess hair growth in places you don't normally have hair growth, maybe your face. That's one. Your menstrual cycle for women is either irregular, most likely, or absent. A low libido for sure. And men, can have this along with erection issues. Mental changes, destroyed. I will say some things are depression, anxiety, behavior changes, and emotional instability, right? I noticed this more so for me after I had surgery and my body was trying to level out. I went through that hard. I would say before, a little bit prevalent, but again, I didn't think it was any different than the average Joe next to me going through the same life experiences as myself. So that's just how I feel about it. Fatigue, obviously, after all of these things, you're going to be tired. Frequent infections, so your body's immune system is not going to be working optimally and you may have more infections. I didn't have that issue. Cognitive difficulties. I honestly did not really realize this during the time that I had the tumor. However, looking back, I can probably correlate some things with the tumor. And at the time, again, I just thought I was struggling and growing up. So, and after I got the tumor removed at work, I mean, my cognitive abilities went from like 0 to 100. It was amazing. I could get work done in maybe like 1/8 of the amount of time it would have taken me before when I had the tumor. So that's really crazy. Headaches, right? If you're having hormones being produced, your pituitary gland is involved, which is in your head, you're going to have a headache. It affects your eyesight. That's going to give you a headache. Increased thirst and urination. I definitely also experienced that. High blood pressure is a big one. I did not experience this personally, but I haven't heard somebody that has not. So high blood pressure is definitely a big one. And also diabetes. Another thing also I did not suffer from. So I was very lucky to have one less symptom of this disease, but another popular one for a lot of people. So again, I have heard from other people's testimonies and videos that I've watched myself, I have heard other symptoms that are not on this list that they correlated with their Cushing's process. So, you know, just to say you might have one other thing or, you know, doesn't rule it out for you. You could still have Cushing's disease, or maybe it is a part of something else that the Cushing's disease is, you know, hurting another area in your body, which is affecting a different symptom that you have. So just keep that in mind. So who usually gets Cushing's disease, right? It is very, very rare. And like I said, I still think it's becoming more and more prevalent. Like my doctor says himself, he diagnoses more people with it, but it's still technically considered a rare disease. The government, no one really funds this disease and any research on it yet. So obviously there's still not enough to be getting that going. But just to give you an estimate, they say that they believe 10 to 15 people for every million people alive are affected each year, okay? And it is most common in adults between 20 years old and 50 years old. And it affects women 5 times more than it does men. So I, you know, like I said, I'm a part of a couple different groups, and I haven't met too many men with this disease that have suffered, but also maybe they're not really willing to share about it, or, you know, maybe they've healed from it quickly and not needed to, you know, do any more research or go to any groups about it as well. So not sure. All right. So what do I do if I think I have Cushing's? Like, what are you going to do, right? You're listening to this video. What should I do? I think it would be best to, you know, work with an endocrinologist, right? Because this is a hormonal disorder. So the endocrinologist is going to be the one that can diagnose this for you. They say to just go to your doctor. It doesn't get specific. So I think that they just missed that. but you should work with an endocrinologist. And if you can find an endocrinologist who has worked with Cushing's patients before, either diagnosed them, knows a bit about it, or is willing to work with you on it, please choose them. Do your research, because a lot of endocrinologists do not know about this disease. They maybe have heard about it once, and it's so rare that it doesn't even come up in their mind to test you for it. They are going to diagnose, I'll tell you, I was diagnosed with PCOS before I was diagnosed with Cushing's for over a year and a half. So yeah, just get somebody who really knows what they're doing. I will say that eventually I got passed along to a specialist in Cushing's, and my life has never been the same. It was smooth sailing, very easygoing ever since that day. So although my endocrinologist did not work out for me, she did pass me along to someone who I couldn't have asked for a better doctor in this entire world. So that's, the silver lining of it all. But again, remember, I went to doctors for 8 years, and each one of them passed me along to a different doctor, an allergist, to a gastroenterologist, or a gastro doctor, to a general doctor, so, and the test that they wanted me to do would have had no sense to what this actually was. So cut yourself some slack and make it easier on yourself. Next, what tests would be the test that they would be testing you for? Because to be honest, some people's endocrinologists, I cannot tell you how many people have emailed me, DM me, whatever, telling me that their doctor did this one test and it came out negative, so they ruled out Cushing's. Cushing's cannot be found with one test, usually. My doctor will do all 3 tests just to make sure that this is the path, right? And sometimes they show up in one and not in the others. So what are those tests? 24-hour urine test, okay? So that's where you have to pee in a jug for 24 hours straight, all right? Turn it in to the labs. They do what they need to do, gives the doctor the results. Test number 2 is the dexamethasone suppression test. What test is this? That is when the doctor will give you a pill that you will take the night before. You will wake up first thing in the morning and get your blood drawn, okay? That also gives them a different level in your blood to read, to see what those numbers are. And they test your blood before, so obviously they know what your blood looks like without the pill, which again, it's a suppression test, so it's supposed to suppress things. So if that pill works, then that's an indicator for them that you could have Cushing's. Test number 3, which is the most accurate test, is the salivary cortisol level test. Now, my doctor says it's specific. I've heard people saying that they just took 2 cortisol samples whenever their doctor didn't say anything about that. What my doctor says is 2 days in a row between 11 p.m. and 12 a.m., right? It's a time frame of testing your cortisol level, and it's easily read at that hour. So if my specialist seems to think that that is important, but your doctor just tells you to take it, again, you could end up with 2 test results not showing that you have Cushing's because of the time you took it. So just something to know, that's what mine recommends. I know there's different doctors out there. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just listening to mine. And once those tests are complete and those show them positive signs of Cushing's, what tests happen after that to officially prove that you can indeed, that your tumor is in your head, right? Before you get neurosurgery, you have to have an MRI, most likely done, I believe it's called a T4 machine, right? There are different types of MRIs. Your pituitary gland is so small that the tumor is literally the size of a pinhead. So the regular MRI machines are not going to show a tumor on your pituitary. I will say my first doctor, endocrinologist, did agree to let me have an MRI, although she did not want me to because she did not believe I had a tumor. But she signed me up for an MRI, which cost me over $1,000. That wasn't the right type of machine. So they would have never seen my tumor. And the conclusion was I had no tumor shown in that MRI. However, I ended up having to have other MRIs done later and then again before the day before the brain surgery in order to get that brain surgery. So I ended up having the correct MRIs done later, but save yourself a couple grand if you can. And you also have to have what is called an IPSS test, inferior petrosal sinus sampling. What the heck is that? Good thing you asked. I didn't know what it was either. It is basically a way for them, they go in through your veins in your groin all the way up to your head, and they are taking blood samples all throughout your body, right? So they're going to take a blood sample close to your pituitary. It goes all the way up your body into your head, and then they take it all throughout your body. So basically you have to have that test done. And why do you have to have that test done? Because it proves that the tumor is in your pituitary. If that test comes back as inconclusive or not high amounts of ACTH, then they need to figure out where that tumor is in your body. Is it on your adrenal glands? Is it on your lungs, etc.? So those were all the tests that I had to do. I actually had to do more. You will be blood tested till your arms are pincushions. I'll tell you that. I have never had more blood drawn in my entire life. I used to be scared of any needles, and now it's like nothing to me. And also, because this could cause osteoporosis, I had to have things before I had surgery, like my bone density test done to make sure I didn't have osteoporosis, and things like that. So just to give you some examples, those might be some of the things that your doctor asks you to take. So yeah, hopefully I was able to answer just like the basic questions. Even that took about 30 minutes. So hopefully this helped you a little bit, and I look forward to answering more of your questions along with sharing with you the questions that other people had from all around the world just about this disease. And I hope that if you're on a journey to figuring out what is wrong with you, that you find out what is wrong with you, whether it's Cushing's disease or maybe this, like I said, my hope is just that it helps you to figure out what is wrong for you. But listen to yourself. You know what is the truth. And I honestly believe that. So if you know something is wrong, don't give up. Hang in there. And keep searching, keep asking questions, follow doctors on Instagram, figure out, listen to what they're talking about. If it ends up not sounding like that's what you have, find someone new to watch. And I guarantee you will be guided to whatever may help you. Your body will, and it will know, it will help you. It wants to heal. It does not want you to be sick. So I just want to say that to anybody who's watching this video, and I really hope this helped you. And like I said, yeah, I just look forward to doing some more videos for you guys soon, and take care until next time. I'll see you later.